Hello everybody, Jen Anderson here. I wanted to share with you some thoughts about the 3 with God journal, largely because a good friend of mine who has a copy of the journal and also was telling me how he's struggling to actually write things in the journal. He's just like, it's so beautiful and I don't want to like deface it, and I don't want to like ruin anything inside of it. It was just, it's so awesome of him to think of it that way. But he's like also just feels like it's really super personal. And so he's like, I don't know that I want to write this stuff down and have other people reading it. And so he shared that thought with me a while ago. And I've been pondering and thinking about what would I tell him about the journal and about writing inside the journal and making sure that like that feeling of like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to write these personal things in here. Like, oh no, I don't want to do it. And this is what I had to say, is that this journal represents God talking to you. And when you are dead, I know you're thinking, whoa, Jen, like way morbid, right? Okay, but when you die, there's no more communicating with your kids and your grandkids and your significant other, your family, your friends, right? Like that's it. So maybe from an angelic being standpoint, yes, we're going to be able to communicate and all of those things. But as far as like sitting down and having a conversation face to face, like sitting down at the kitchen table or on the couch or being out for a walk or whatever, like you're done. Like there's no more communicating with your family. And so what my advice is if you are feeling reluctant to start using this journal, or you're feeling a little bit like, ooh, I don't know if I want to write those things down, they're kind of personal, just to remember that the things that you're putting inside the journal is instruction from God on what He needs you to do in your life so you can make a difference for other people. Likely, some of the things that you are going to write down in here are going to be for your spouse, your significant other, family members, kids, friends, things about your business, etc. So you're going to get inspiration on things on how, like, maybe you need to work on improving your relationship with one of your children, or what you need to do with your husband, or whatever it is, right? And so don't be afraid of somebody reading that later and you being all embarrassed about it or whatever. If anything, that person is going to be like, wow, like my mom or my dad or my husband or my wife or whatever it is, like they were so in tune. They were asking God for advice and asking for inspiration, or they weren't even asking and they got it. And that God was that aware and gave them that inspiration. And then that inspiration is written down, and then they're going to see what you did to follow through on it. That is so powerful. And I share this with you because I don't want anybody thinking about like, oh my gosh, like what do I do with the journal? Like how do I literally get started? Like what do I actually do to get started on this thing? Just use it. If you're having that middle of the night awakening. So again, if you wake up because you need to go pee, or your kid is sick, or wakes up from a bad dream,